Good morning, everyone. My name is Stephanie Van Bark, and I am a small business owner. Thank you for joining us today. We will be talking to, first of all, a towner for life. You know how passionate I am about Overtown. He is the owner of Uoowoo Mixer. His name is Kenemo Williams. And I do have to make a quick correction. Yesterday, I called him a wildcat. Today, I learned I was incorrect. He went to Grambling, so he is a tiger. So I wanted to make sure I make that correction. But without further ado, I really would like to bring on board Kenemo Williams, who will talk to us as the owner of Uoowoo Mixer. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I am well. I'm well.
Thank you so much for agreeing to.
What the old people would say, fair to middly, and I'm faking it.
How old are you really?
I'm old enough to know.
Not to answer that question.
No, I'm not afraid of my age because my thing is because if you know my family, we age gracefully.
That's true. That's very true.
We age gracefully.
I can attest to that for sure.
Yes, I am 46 years old.
So let me start with who are you and what do you do?
I am Kenemo Williams. I am the president of Nemo's Uoowoo Cocktail Mocktail Mixer. We are the first and only Black-owned cocktail mocktail mixer in the state of Florida.
So you started with lemonade, correct?
I started it out as a ready-to-drink lemonade.
Okay.
And as we started going into the markets and kept looking at different things in the stores and seeing how the ready-to-drink market is so oversaturated, and then everything is owned by the big name companies. Because if you look back, majority of the drinks that you see in the stores are either owned by Pepsi or Coca-Cola.
Okay.
And they're just underneath, they're just subsidiaries of those big names.
Okay. And so you decided, let's find another way to use what I have and create a different target market for it.
Majority of my customers was mixing my stuff with the spirit.
Spirit.
They were mixing it with spirit. So, it was just like, and then I did my first time when I went to South Beach Food and Wine Festival, and through FIU Startup Food that I'm a part of, and we went out to the South Beach Food and Wine Festival, and people were coming up. We were giving samples out. I couldn't even give my stuff out as a sample then, because people were like, "What liquor's in it? What alcohol's in there? Is that alcohol?" And I was like, "No." Like, "Oh, okay, thank you, bye."
Okay. So you had to transition.
Bye.
Has the transition been better for you and for your business?
It's been different. It's not that I say it's better because nothing's been bad. It wasn't bad as a ready to drink, and it wasn't bad as a mixer. I just don't get robbed anymore.
Okay. I get you. By the way, Erica McKinney said Nemo is the best. So
hey, Erica McKinney was my very first boss.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
My very first manager.
Very, very supportive, which brings me to, I was looking at your bio and learned that you studied hospitality and worked in hospitality for several years. What inspired you to make the change? Why did you decide to take the leap of faith and hop into the entrepreneurship pool?
After working in the hospitality industry for over 20 some years.
Oh, wow.
I started in high school because I started in high school with that job that I was saying with Erica. That was a hospitality. We were the very first we were the infos, and it was like the ambassadors that they have in downtown Miami now. Okay. We started that program.
Okay.
We started that back in 1992.
Okay.
And that's hospitality.
Right. Exactly.
It was the GDA. So I started then. And then in high school, I was, class president, and I was working with the hotels. We're getting our prom and our homecoming things together. So that got me in the hotels and working in, that aspect. And then when I was like going to college, I was like, what I wanted to go into broadcast journalism, and then I looked back and saw, this boy here with dyslexia can't do all that reading, can't do all that reading, and like on the spot kind of reading, that's what happened. And then it's just like I was very personable. And then my grandmother was like, well, why don't you just go into hospitality? You from Miami. That's what makes Miami go.
Right.
So I got in the hospitality.
Absolutely.
I got in the hospitality industry. I matriculated through Grambling State University. And in Grambling, Louisiana.
Let's not have a war.
It's okay. No, but it was and then we went through in Grambling we learned casinos, we learned hotels. We went through that. I got my bachelor's degree at Grambling. Then I came home because I did Disney internships at Disney through the college program. And in the college program at Disney, they sent you to a location and was like, okay, you're gonna work here. Like they threw me in my first year, they threw me in the kitchen.
Okay. That should be fun.
I felt discriminated against. Right. I was like, I'm in hotels.
But now it's helping you today.
I was like, I'm going through hotel management. Why am I in this kitchen?
Look, now it's serving you today.
Yeah. Yeah. But I started a program in the college program with the hospitality students to have them to matriculate through the hotels. Because like if we're hotel, people learning how to be in hotels, you just can't give me one job, and that's how I'm supposed to learn what a hotel is like. Right. So we started a rotation program. Every 2 weeks, you did a 2-week program in one area. You did another 2-week program in another area. You did another 2-week program in another area. And so that's how they progressed with that. I don't know if they're still doing that, but I know I started that with them. And first hotel was the Grand Floridian. Okay. That's over in Brickell, right? That's over in Disney. Disney. Okay. The Uoowoo Hotel. That's their high-end hotel. Yeah, that's their high-end hotel. And ever since then, I've always worked in high-end hotels.
So when did you decide I want to be an entrepreneur and I'm going to take this leap of faith? Or did you work for a while, start your business, and then transition completely?
I worked at the Delano Hotel. I worked at the Florida. I worked at Marriott in Fort Lauderdale. Then I moved to Atlanta. I worked for the Ritz-Carlton in Atlanta for almost 12 years, 10 years in Atlanta at the Ritz-Carlton. I worked for the Georgia World Congress Center for 3.5 years. I was a food safety and sanitation with the National Restaurant Association. I was a proctor tester with another company. I worked for Target. I learned that Target was not for me. And I worked for Budget Rental Car. I learned who I wasn't, and was what I did was not being cursed out every day. Right. Then I moved back home. I started selling. I know I'm a salesperson. One thing, I know I'm a salesperson because I was here in Miami, and I started my first job when I came back from Atlanta. Was here in Miami. Was at Macy's, and I was selling fur coats.
Like everybody starts at Macy's. Everybody works at Macy's.
I was working for the Fur Vault in Macy's, selling fur coats here in Miami. I was doing quite well. I was selling fur coats. I was making over $50,000-$60,000 a week.
A week? Oh, for them. Okay, for them.
For them.
Okay.
For them.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Okay, for them. So.
But then I got the last full-time job was at a school that needs not to be named here, but it was a high-end school here in Miami. And I was one of those people that I'm not a hat person. My grandmother's a hat lady. Right. But I'm not. So I was terminated for not wearing my hat. And right. So I said, you know what? This will be the last place that I work for. And I started, because I was already doing it there while I was there. And I just said, you know what? God said, go head on and do this. Because, like, as we spoke before, I've never watched my parents work for anyone.
Right.
My parents, all of my parents always owned their own businesses. You know, never saw my mother or my father having to go to somebody else's job and make their mission or make their job happen for them.
Well, as you mentioned, I actually know your grandmother and your mom, and know that you are. This is generational for you. This is your third generation of watching entrepreneurship. What is that like to have sort of that in-house education all the time, and what hard and fast tips have they been able to share with you that you now are able to incorporate today?
One thing with my father that I can say is he always said, add your name to your business.
Okay.
He added my father named all of his, because my father was in the music business. My father was Kenemo Williams, King Sporty. He wrote a lot of music he wrote and produced a lot of music for the Caribbean artists. He wrote several songs for Bob Marley. His major song that he wrote for Bob Marley was Buffalo Soldier.
Okay.
That's what he gets full credit for. He gets full credit for writing Buffalo Soldier. And that was just, seeing him. And he named every record label after one of his kids.
Okay.
He named one of the record labels after one of his kids. My name was on the publishing company.
Okay.
It was Kenemo Publishing. So we went through that. So he always put a name. Like, it's almost like how DJ Khaled named his sons on all of his productions and stuff like that.
Okay.
So they get that that's their legacy from him.
Exactly. Okay.
So that's what my father, he said, always put your name on it. And that's where Nemo's came from. Because, my name is Kenemo. And my friends always call me Nemo. So, and then it's easier to remember. And it's catchy.
And it makes sense. It actually it is catchy when you think of Uoowoo Mixer. It actually is a really good fit.
So it's just the progression of just seeing things like that, like with my father, and then with my grandmother. My grandmother she is the matriarch of matriarchs for everybody.
Right.
It's not just our family she's a matriarch for. She's a matriarch for Overtown, city of Miami, the community's grandma, mother. She is a historian for the city of Miami.
What tips have you learned? What have you learned yourself? Now, this third generation here, how have you been able to put your stamp on it?
To create relationships like they did. They created relationships like our relationship. We met each other and it was like instantly clicked.
Right.
And it's just like that. You have to know how to do that. Like, they taught me how to do that. Just sitting there watching. Like, my father had no strangers. My grandmother knows no strangers.
Right.
They know no strangers. Like my stepmother. My stepmother's the same way. She knows no stranger. My mother, everybody's a friend. It's just like where you know these. When you as a kid, you're like, where you know these people from? I don't know them. But you got. You're like, you just talking to these people like some of us have that Miami attitude that I don't know you, I don't speak to you.
But in business, you can't do that. You can't do that in business because you never know who you're talking to. So good. Okay, so now we are here today at the pandemic, and you are an essential business. So I'm really interested in.
Really?
I mean, Truth be told, yeah.
For medicinal.
That's another show.
For the medicinal purposes.
That's another show. That's a recipe show. If I was smart, I would have asked you to do some recipes for us. But okay.
You can always ask.
which, actually to your point, to that point, okay, let's talk a little bit about your distribution. I believe you've had a very specific level of or means of getting your product out into the world.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that and how there's been a need to pivot during this time.
Well, I did tons of festivals and events. I travel extensively. I'm from North Florida I've been in DC. I've been in Atlanta with my drinks. I've traveled all over Florida, Clewiston, Lake City, Orlando, and especially here in Miami and Fort Lauderdale and Broward and Miramar and all of that. Once Miss Corona came around and I was booked for, I had two weekends in Wynwood. We had jazz. I had a customer that ordered gallons of my stuff for Jazz in the Gardens.
Wow! Yes.
Then I had customers that ordered gallons of my stuff for Calle.
Yes.
And even some people was going to do some stuff at Ultra. So I'm like, all that's gone.
All of that down. So of course, again, we talk about this as Florida. So our emergency plan is typically based on hurricanes. So we're looking maybe 2 weeks out. This has been a little different, a little bit. So did you
just a little bit?
So did you even have an emergency plan? And once the emergency plan was not a factor, how have you been able to pivot?
Was no emergency plan. Didn't ever have any other contingency. Because being here in Miami, we'll party up until the rain starts showing, until the rain start coming down.
And during the pandemic and stuff.
And then because like even if Jazz in the Gardens is a rain or shine event,
Right. Yes.
So and like Calle is a rain or shine event. So it's like you're gonna be there regardless, and we're gonna be raining, and we're gonna be out here in it.
Get our rain show up.
Rain here in Miami only shows up for like 10-15 minutes and then go away.
Exactly.
And then here comes the sun, and then now you hot. Again.
Exactly. You grateful for that little bit of water. So what are you going to do then?
Luckily, I do have loyal customers.
Okay, good.
Luckily, I do have loyal customers, and I was still getting orders.
Okay, through an online platform.
Just through my online platform, and then people just calling me up because they already have my number.
Gotcha.
My regular customers, they're loyal, so they're just calling me and like, okay, I need my fix.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Did you or were you eligible for any of the loans and the grants that were available to most small businesses?
Don't cuss at me.
Did you apply?
I applied for every grant that I could. And then some of them it was just like the dollar amount didn't warrant with all the information that they were asking for. Like there was one that was like $1,000 grant, and you wanted 4 years of taxes. I'm like, you want all my bank statements. I'm like, for $1,000?
That's a lot. You
asking for $5,000 worth of work to give me $1,000.
Especially during an emergency situation like that. I kind of agree with you on that. Like, this isn't the time for that. If we can find a way to get the best practices that we can get, the best information we can get as quickly as we can get. I know that's
it's
just
not like I don't have the information readily available.
Good.
I do have, because once the pandemic hit, and I was like, okay, I guess we got to sit down and do these numbers, Right. And I have a great business coach. I have a great business coach from Branches. His name is Josh Noor.
Okay.
And he is a great business coach. And he was like, Nemo, let's go sit down and do this stuff. So
he was able to help you with your accounting.
He was helping me with my accounting.
Okay.
So we got all of the numbers for this year together. You know, they helped me with from the beginning of my business with my accounting and getting my stuff together.
Okay.
Branches has been a really really great partner with me.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect.
So we just worked through it. So we got our numbers together. We did all that. So it was just like, so you have your stuff together. You have your ducks lined up in a row. Mm-hmm. So if anything was, since you had nothing else to do, you might as well sit down and do your numbers, because you
which, to your point, this is a perfect time for you to really get on top of your business game. In particular, if you don't have a lot of work coming in.
Yeah. And my thing is, it's always, as an entrepreneur, we think that we know everything.
No.
Or we tend to act like we know everything about everything. For me, I was like, it's time to learn some more.
Exactly.
So I've been on all of these Zoom classes, all of these Zoom meetings with a lot of the different entrepreneurs and a lot of the different companies out here that are doing things like that are giving out information, that are pouring into people. You know, I was like, where was this before this pandemic? Thank you, Corona. Shoot, you know, if it wasn't for Corona, we wouldn't be learning a lot of the stuff that we're learning now.
Absolutely.
You know, that's being passed out. So I've taken a lot of those classes.
Okay.
So I've been watching and learning, taking notes and stuff like that with all of the Zoom classes, especially through Venture Cafe too.
Okay.
You know, they help, and then through a bunch of the other resources out here. And I tend to like what I'm hearing and seeing, and I'm applying a lot of that stuff to my business.
Good. Very good.
Yeah.
Now, COVID-19 obviously affected your operations. When we have opened, I am wondering, you know, there are a lot of CDC guidelines that are being floated, in particular when it comes to food service and beverage type industries. What have you had to do differently? Where have you had to pivot in that role? And is that an easy lift right now? You know, I mean, I think you work out of a commercial kitchen, correct?
Yes, I work out of a commercial kitchen out of FIU.
Okay.
And FIU's closed.
Uh-huh. That presents.
FIU's closed. So we had to work out of our commercial kitchen that called, we gonna keep that a secret.
So yeah.
So it's just, so we pivoted from there, and we've even gotten into partnering with different companies.
Mm-hmm.
Like I partnered with my friend Steve Charles, and he has it's creative imaging. He does t-shirts. He does the Comic-Con t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
I partnered with him when I worked for that school that needs not to be mentioned. He does the t-shirts. He's done my t-shirts. He's done my logos. He's done like all of my graphics, anything that I've done, you know, him and my big brother, Andre. I call him Andre everything, you know, my urban. And those two guys there, I got a good, like when we were talking about with your team.
Right, exactly.
And you know, and I was, as I was thinking about it, I was like, because I always say I don't have a team, but I'm looking back at, yeah, I do have a team.
You do have a team.
I got Josh, I got Josh, I got Andre, I got Steve, mm-hmm. I got Graylin as my business mentor, Graylin Sweely Woods as my
another
Dr. Graylin Sweely Woods. You have to make that right. Dr. Graylin Sweely Woods, Miss Connie Kennard, you know, with the GMCVB, Eric knows he's like, he drops out nuggets out of his mouth that he doesn't even know he does. Business nuggets, like, you know, like I was at a seminar and he was like, there's so many people out here that's playing business and not actually doing business.
Right, absolutely.
You know, and I was like, oh my goodness. And then I had to look back at myself. I was like, are you playing business?
Because there's always, I like to say there's that differential between the hustle and the real business owner. And the real business owner needs to be prepared with documentation and be able to support that they are actually in business. And I had an accountant tell me once that if you aren't making money within the first 3 years, it's a hobby. So,
or my thing is, and for me being here in Miami, you know, a lot of the, because like when I first came out with my business, like when I first hit the street, you know, I was like, I'm permitted up. I got all my permits. I got my licenses, you know, and I was just like, I'm out here on the streets. And my friends that were out on the streets doing it, they was like, why you got all the permits and licenses already?
mm-hmm.
I said, because look, here come this police officer pulling up right now, and who they gonna tell to shut down, and who they gonna tell to stay open?
Exactly. The person that's got the permit.
So
right.
I started out doing my business right because I have those business mentors and my grandmother and my father and my mother that always say, you got to do it right the first time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you do
because
it right.
There is a cost of doing business.
You don't have to, you know, to do it back again.
Now, let me ask you, is this a good time for you to target new clientele? Are you able to do so, or are you looking at maybe how you might get into a retail scenario?
Well, what we've done now during the corona, by even partnering up, we've decided that we're going to go ahead and launch our cocktail brand now.
Okay.
So we're just not going to mean the cocktail mocktail mixer. We're going to actually be the cocktail. So
the cocktail will have the spirits in it already.
It will already has the spirit, and that will be called Nemo. That will be called New.
Okay.
It'll be called New. It'll be NUW.
Very cool.
It'll be
so that's already. It's already in production, or we're in contracts. We're in contract negotiations with a company out of Texas. Okay.
Because they're going to help with doing a lot with the spirit, and it will be a spirit that won't actually have to have a liquor license. We'll just use a beer and wine license.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you heard it first here. You heard it
first right here.
Breaking news.
You get your bottle of New.
Exactly.
And New is Nemo's Uoowoo, just using the initials.
Very nice. Okay, that's very nice. And it's going to be, Erica said, hooray.
Yeah, I can see the comments too. That's kind of cool.
So very cool. So let's see.
And Erica's a good customer of mine as well too.
He calling you out, Erica.
No, she's a good customer. Listen, anybody that buys more than 4 gallons of me is a great customer.
I hear you. So has this been the most challenging experience you've had to go through being in business? Really?
No.
Would you share what that might be? I mean, if you're open to it.
No, yeah, I'm an open book. I tell you anything.
Tell me what happened.
Just like the keeping up with a lot of the permits and the different business stuff here in South Florida with the licensing and things like that. Because it took me a while to get my license from the state to actually do the manufacturing of my beverage. Mm-hmm. You know, I sent in the application like 5 times.
Oh, wow.
And then when they got to me, it was like I was sending it to them I sent it in June, July, August, September, October. And then they come back in November and be like, oh, yeah, we got your application. And okay, you got to pay us $600.
Exactly.
For the year in December. Oh, and your year starts back again in January.
Right. Yeah. So I don't have that kind of money in small business.
That was a little difficult. So, it was, and then trying to coming up with a lot of the different blends and things like that, getting the right company with the right flavor that you want, with the right taste and everything. So that was a difficult part for my business.
Okay.
This right here doing Miss Corona, this ain't nothing.
Okay. Ooh, look at you. But does it make you I guess it's very interesting that during this time, we've really had to vet and look at how some of these policies that have been implemented for a small business, had they really served the greater good for small business?
Okay, because with the Corona thing, right? With a lot of those, those loans and programs, the loans and grants and a lot of that stuff, we don't qualify. I didn't qualify for it because I'm the only employee,
right?
And I do festivals and events, and I do and I do tastings and stuff like that. So that's not considered and I don't have a truck, you know. And even with food trucks, the food trucks out there, they didn't qualify.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, they didn't qualify for a lot of that stuff, like the PPP. I don't have no full-time employees.
Right.
What about yourself? They don't have rent to actually pay.
Okay. But could you claim your own salary?
You can, but then that's the way you have to set up your business to do, if you're not making that kind of money, because it's just like with the hairstylists, like the hairstylists and barbers, they don't fall into place for those. Okay. And then they're not considered essential workers.
Oh no.
So they're not essential workers. You can't apply for those grants and loans and stuff like that. That because you don't qualify as a, because you don't have a, PPP doesn't cover you, and then the SBA, they don't cover you. And then with and going to your bank, if you have a relationship with your bank, but your bank is like your money don't come in that regularly. Right. So your money's sporadic.
Right.
So you can't say, okay, yeah, I can definitely pay you back this $10,000 loan that I'm going to get to cover everything that I need to cover, and my money comes in. Oh, I have an event this week and I made $8,000, but then I have another event the next weekend and I made $200.
So you're basically having to manage your budget and pull out your pocket.
Yeah,
to create the product that is available to you.
So you're constantly robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Absolutely.
To kind of to make this stuff happen. Absolutely. And it's like one of my friends that does the same thing that I do. That we do all these festivals and events. We were like, there needs to be some kind of unit, like a organization that can cover us.
Right, absolutely.
That can cover us. That's like, hey,
yeah,
these people, like a union or something like that. Like that says, and then like to have some of these with these events and festivals. I'm just gonna say it for real. Just be totally honest. Like some of the Black events, they charge tons of money. They charge more than some of the. Like I can go to Hollover and set up. During during their food truck wars and things like that, and set up for 2 days and spend $300 for a vendor fee. I go to Overtime Music Festival. I'm spending $700, $600, $700 for a 1 day event.
Wow.
Jazz in the Gardens is over 3,000. It's 3,000 plus.
Okay. Now we've learned. We've learned. So definitely.
And mind you, Cayocho is a 1 day event, and their vendor fee was, is still reasonable. Their vendor fee is less than, it's like $600. You can see that.
Right.
Because you build the crowd.
And you're gonna definitely get your money back.
You're gonna get your money back. Yeah.
Okay, so Terrence chimed in. Hey,
Terrence.
Yeah.
What's up, Frat? Hey, fine.
I wish we would have asked these people to drop their Cash App because I feel like people would give to them during these conversations. Oh, wow. Okay. Hey.
Cash App is $.
He might be right. Get you a little mixing money.
My Cash App is.
He might not be wrong.
My Cash App is $, Nemo's Uoowoo, NEMOS, UOOWOW.
Cool.
Uoowoo.
Say it again one more time.
Cash App is $Nemos UOOWOW. Nemo's Uoowoo.
So I have a good question.
Yes.
So when we get back to normal, you've created a new product. Your current product is going very well. What's the goal? What's the plan? How on the other side, what's your strategic plan at that point?
Well, what we're doing now, what I was trying to hint to you before, and we were talking off this. We are even in negotiations with trying to get a building.
Oh wow!
We're trying to get a storefront, but we're not just doing a storefront just for Nemos. We're doing a storefront for a group.
Okay, very nice.
We're trying to mimic the Citadel.
Okay, I get you. That scenario.
So we're trying to mimic that.
That's a very good model these days. It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
Because I just went one on Brickell, and it's a really nice. Yeah, it's a really. Nice model. Mm-hmm.
It's like trying to do we're doing a food court, but we want to do a African American food court
version. Okay, very nice.
And so the Citadel has their the Haitian Caribbean thing. We want to do one. So we're looking at a place in either Liberty City or Overtown where we can make this happen. And I was talking to a couple of people who have a little influence to make this happen. So that's what we're working on that.
Is that happening soon?
Buildings like that take.
I know. I was just hoping.
Listen, this is Miami. Don't nothing happen within 6 days.
Right. Okay. I was just counting my fingers.
To even get the people that you might think that might have the want to even try to think about the want to help you, it takes longer.
That's true. That's true. Now, what I've noticed about your business is, we talked a little bit about this on the show. Some businesses won't make it through this. There's a projection of about 40%. But you seem to be very nimble. You seem to be able, because you've been able to keep your expenses pretty low, you have been able to sort of sustain and I would imagine and envision even to transition through this situation a little bit better than maybe some others. Have you pondered, what you're doing right and really how you can maximize that and making sure that sustains you and prepares you for future emergency circumstances?
For my business, really, because see, that's why I named my business Nemo's Uoowoo. So I can add other things in there. Mm-hmm. 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 Like I've even partnered with my friend Steve, and we're doing mask. We're doing the mask. Okay. We're doing that. We're working on doing masks. I'm working with another partner with doing T-shirts. Okay. And, I'm a salesperson. Okay. So, and I'm a person, I can sell somebody else's stuff better than I can sell my own.
Okay.
So I can help people, and I've been helping people, like even with I was yesterday talking with a friend with helping her design some of the stuff for her restaurant that she's getting ready to open.
Okay. Oh wow.
Yeah. So I'm doing a lot of business consulting as well. Okay. Because I've been in this for a while. Okay. I'm coming out of a family that has. My mother used to have a restaurant. Okay. My mother used to manage IHOPs.
Okay. So definitely
So I know the restaurant side. I know I was like, my thing is, in growing up in my house, you had like 3 different industries that you can go into.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You can go politics for my grandma's side and housing. You can go into the music industry on my father's side. And my mother was right up in the middle, and she had both. Right. And then she had the restaurant side too.
Okay.
You know,
So you definitely come with a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was, a lot of the stuff was just embedded in me, from the beginning.
Are you frightened by what's going on right now with the pandemic? In terms of as a business owner?
Everything. I'm frightened by everything.
Then I guess the answer would be yes.
No, because see, I take this as how they, it was this one lady, the lady that started she started the jewelry company that she moved from somewhere and moved here to Florida. And she was at a panel and she was just like, everything's an opportunity. There's no wins, there's no loses, there's just opportunities.
Okay. And
there's opportunities to grow from everything that you've done. Like I take this Corona thing as an opportunity to learn.
Absolutely. I agree.
It's an opportunity to learn like who you are in your business.
Right. And to create, come up with new ideas and okay. Terrence wants to know, tell us some of the community programs that you access to get your business off the ground.
Terrence knows this.
I was about to say.
Terrence knows this. So that's why he's bringing it up.
Okay, for the audience.
I can say I'm a stickler with trying to learn because I want to learn everything. So I've worked with the GMCVB was the first place that actually put a seed into my business.
Okay.
They seeded into my business. We did a pitch competition. We did a training class, we did several weeks training class with the GMCVB with Miss Graylin Sweetley Woods, Petra Brennan, and Miss Connie Kennard. Sarah. Yeah. So, we went through that. I went through that with them. Started there. I went through Nana. Mm-hmm. I went through Nana and Tools for Change through their class. Mm-hmm. I went through Urban Philanthropy in their class. I went through Prospera in their class. I went through Action in their class. I went through Branches with their classes.
Okay.
I've done every business boot camp in Miami-Dade County. Mm-hmm. I've even gone to Broward and went to the Urban League and learned some things through the Urban League in Broward County. So I'm just a person who's just out here trying to make sure I know everything and how I can do my business and do my business properly.
Right.
I worked with you and Terrence, with your group.
With the H&R Center.
You all dropped the seed in Nemo's Uoowoo.
Yes.
You dropped the seed in Nemo's Uoowoo, giving me some business, and I greatly appreciate you on that. I'm looking
with Arts Launch. We did an event with Arts Launch at the H&R Center and brought people over into the Overtown area, and Nemo was one of our best vendors and definitely went back over to the H&R Center. So I think it was a big deal.
The H&R Center is a great place to do business. They made me step up a little more. Because I was like, I'm going to the H&R Center. I gotta make my stuff look like, I had to make my stuff look like the H&R Center, So
I think you got a lot of feedback. I think people like what you had too.
Yeah. So I had to dig in the pocket. And pull out some stuff and make some beautiful things happen.
Good.
So, and then everybody knows me. They know that my setups, when I do my events and stuff like that, my table is always, because that's from me coming out of hospitality, coming out of the hotel background.
Right, absolutely.
And, doing the hotel background, like I used to build buffets in the hotel. And if you look at a buffet in a hotel, you're like, oh, that's
very elaborate. Yes.
Always it's the eye catcher. It's always you have to make it pretty. You have to make it pretty to bring somebody's attention to you. So that's why if I'm at an event, I'm always there like maybe 2-3 hours early because I got to make my table look like,
fantastic. Yeah.
I got to bring it out. I got to step it up, because I'm going to outdo everybody. If I may not outdo you in sales, I'm going to outdo you in look.
That's good. Good point. And that's true. He's done that. I've seen it. Yeah. So before we leave, we wanted to make
sure. I'm not going nowhere. We're going to 10 o'clock.
Oh, we go. Wait. We're going to
11 o'clock. We got
we got plenty of time.
We got plenty of time.
It's
I ain't got nothing to do with it either.
Well, another quick question that came through was yours is a business that have you had to look at the CDC requirements as you are preparing your
well right now, because like with me doing festivals and events, that's going to be kind of difficult, you know, because not many people are going to want to come to an event right now. Be around a bunch of people.
No,
you know, so I'm thinking that we probably won't be able to do an event or festival like that maybe until November, December or something.
Yeah, I've heard everybody's moving back to October. So
maybe even until January. So I'm not sure. Haven't looked into what the CDC requires for me, but I'm always, because like even when I'm out, because like the state really doesn't regulate. You know, the Department of Agriculture regulates what I do.
Okay.
The Department of Agriculture regulates what I do.
And are they staying connected to you and others just to keep you really informed as to how things are operating and functioning?
They keep sending me a bill. That's about it.
Didn't that come with
money? I'm sorry. Stephanie, you know me. I'm sorry.
I know. But I thought they were.
I'm just gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna keep it real with you.
Is anybody working in the department right now, or?
Yeah, they're there, and but they haven't. You know, they're more focused on making sure the people get food and stuff like that. You know, that are out there that need food and stuff. But because by me not being a major business. That's under their umbrella, that's having to be watched over and stuff like that. Right. They're not paying me any attention.
Okay. But they are still actively working. It just
they're actually still working.
Your level of expertise. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's make sure I didn't miss anything.
Erica says something about Mr. Bill Talbert. Mr. Bill Talbert is a great guy. Yes, I love Mr. Bill Talbert. He is a great guy. He truly backs the multicultural division of the GM, the Greater Miami Visitors and Convention. He really does, and I appreciate him for that.
So tell me a little bit about your recipes. I don't want to know what they are. I'm not asking. What I am asking is about trade secrets. I think we talked a little bit about incorporating recipes, the importance of the intellectual property, as we learned from Ms. Kimra Major Morris. Where are you in that realm? Are you working toward that, considering
we are working towards that. That will come about, but once that's a little expensive. So once we get, you know, a little thing, because you know, with the beverage, my thing is, it's like with cooking. You know, I can tell you everything that I put in my thing, you know, in my drinks. I can tell you everything I put in it. I can tell you from even the products and where I get it from. It just depends on the hand and how it's going to come out. Because me and you can go to the grocery store and buy the same bushel of collard greens,
and it might taste different. Yeah.
And your collard greens are not going to taste like my collard greens.
But then why would you even concern yourself with doing a trade secret copyright if
that saves your business from? That's just like with Coca-Cola and Pepsi. You know,
exactly.
Coca-Cola and Pepsi, like their stuff is
a lady in jail for taking that.
No, their stuff is, you know, Coca-Cola and Pepsi is similar. You know, they're both a caramel drink. You know, but Pepsi did theirs a little. They turned their water on a little faster than Coca-Cola turned theirs on. You know, they mix it there's a little tad difference between the two. One adds maybe a little more sugar than the other one, and you know, it's just a difference. So you do those because it kind of protects your business. It's just like with trademarking your name. You know, just because our names may be similar, it's not the same.
Okay. All right.
You know,
so
I can't. And I'm gonna be working on that real soon. I called Kimra and said, "Hey, sugar, let's make this happen." And she was like, "Yes, get you some money." And I was like, "Okay."
Kimra Major Morris was on the show a couple of weeks ago, and she has a wealth of information. So check her out.
I've been knowing her since I was a little kid too.
And I mean, just everything from food to beverages to television shows or web series, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Wealth of knowledge.
Yeah. It's really good to know the different things like that. And it's such a wealth of information that's out here. And I greatly appreciate you for bringing this platform out. Because I've learned a lot from some of the people that you put on.
Good.
Even though I know a lot of them that you had on here, and I was like, oh, see, I didn't know she did that. Oh, especially with Orlando. Orlando is like, I love Orlando, and he is a wealth of knowledge when it comes to the entrepreneurial business.
Mm-hmm.
He is a wealth of knowledge. I love to pick his ear when I see him in the streets.
Exactly. Exactly. And that was my hope with this web series, is that people will learn. If you are an entrepreneur, you may learn or even get brainstorm some new ideas just because you're in a space with other entrepreneurs. Or if you're aspiring to be an entrepreneur, you kind of know how to work out the kinks based on some of the things that we've done wrong.
Yeah. and that's what we need. That's what we need to do, is just like that's why I always like to go to some of these classes and go into these different things, is you learn from somebody else's mistake so you don't copy it.
Absolutely. And that's my hope, because a lot of times we work in silos. So we're figuring out as we go along, throwing things against the wall and hope they work.
Because like I had a friend that he just started a business, right? And he already knows that I've been doing business and I've been doing business coaching, but then he decided to start his business, and he just went ahead on and did it on his own. And he got a lawyer. He got this lawyer, and they just start his LLC and his EIN number. He paid them $800.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, excuse me? I said, you paid them $800 to do what? Oh, so they got me my LLC. They got me my EIN number. They gave me a business address. And you paid them $800. I said, do you know that was only $150 investment? He was like, what? I was like, yeah, that was a $150 investment. Only thing that you had to pay for was your LLC with the state of Florida. I said, you didn't have to pay to get an EIN number. You didn't have to go get some business address. And then they gave him a business address in Hialeah.
Oh,
he lives in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Did you live in Fort Lauderdale? You live in North Lauderdale, in almost Tamarack, and they gave you a business address in Hialeah. I said I would understand if they gave you a business address being a black business, if they gave you a business address in Liberty City before they gave you one in Hialeah.
Yeah, good point. Wait, we have a question.
Yes.
The question is actually from my aunt.
Hi, Auntie.
Hey, Auntie. There are free events at the Olympia and Hampton House. Have you contacted Keith Clark to see if you can set up there? Very few vendors, no conflict of interest.
Okay, I've never done that. I've been to the Hampton House. I received an award for my father at the Hampton House, but that's about it. And I live not too far from it.
So you need to check it out. Well, I mean, I don't know if they're doing anything right now, but touch base with them and put your name in the hat for when they're ready to do some other things.
Thanks, Auntie, for that information.
So
we'll look into that.
So I guess those are all the questions I have. Thank you.
Really?
Yeah, that's all I wanted to know. But I think that was a wealth of information, because you and I talk all the time, but I definitely have. It's been interesting to hear you talk about the manufacturing piece and the commercial kitchen and how that's evolved. I mean, manufacturing has always been a little scary to me. It's an undertaking. You got to work about product.
I mean, it's just like how you write, like how you write. You're writing your stories and you're writing your papers and stuff like that. I don't write. I actually mix.
Right.
I put things together. I take, that's what I'll take, because like you was asking me, like, what's in my recipes? My flamingo is a strawberry, watermelon, and pina colada.
You ain't got to tell the recipe.
I don't have it, because I have to put it on my bottle, so it's already there. And like my mango Django, maybe it's mango, pineapple, and coconut. you know,
Okay.
and in my That's So Miami, and like, you know, I used my That's So Miami because I was like, you know, I used the mixed berry, guava, and pina colada in there. So that's,
Oh,
you know, that's, you know, those are things that I, you know, I just take and mix up stuff. And, you know, and I have a lot of customers that call me and they like, Nemo, do what you do. You know, and I mix different things. I customize stuff. I do Halloween drinks in orange and black. I did a
oh,
party
wow.
for this lady. I customized her. She was doing her I think it was her 60th birthday, and it was diamonds, and it was a black pearl. So I did a pearl white drink with a black drink.
Oh, cool.
So,
Very cool. Very creative.
and she was like, "How you made this white? It's white and it tastes good." And then she was like, "Oh, this black. Wait a minute." I was like, "Yeah." You know, it's just me just, you know, planning and just coming up with stuff and just looking into different things and then knowing your primary colors.
Right, exactly. Which actually, I will say too, at the Adrian Art Center, that was one of the things I was impressed with. You made it so bright and lively. You had to come to the table. You were drawn to the table because the colors were so powerful. I mean, there was a blue drink on the table. You're like, wait a minute, I got to go figure out what's in this blue drink.
What's this blue?
Right, it was delicious. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't a joke. It was delicious, but it drew you. It drew you over to the table, and in an audience of. For that day, there were roughly about 10,000 people there that day. By that evening, there were still thousands. For us to be able to see you across the room, that was
I was totally out before the day was. I was like, wait, I ain't got no more.
Exactly. So, needless to say, he is correct. He's a master at that color and the way that it tastes, for sure. Well, I thank you for joining me today.
Okay, Auntie says, I'm welcome to the Olympic Theater.
You are welcome, Olympic Theater. She has the contact information.
Okay, and where's the Olympic Theater at?
Olympia is downtown.
Downtown.
It's the Gusman.
What's that?
It's the Gusman Theater.
Oh!
It's not called Olympia.
Oh! Don't do that. My father used to perform at the Gusman Theater.
Right. So now it's the Olympia.
Oh, my goodness.
So give him a call. She has the contact information. I'll make sure I get it to
you. Make sure we get that.
I'll get it to you.
Make that happen. Thank you, Auntie. See, that's all about connections. I told you, it's about relationships.
Exactly.
It's about relationships. That's what business is. The relationships and contacts. I love it.
So before we go, can you tell us how to get in touch with you? You've already given us your Cash App, which Terrence is so kind as to put up for us. But please let us know how we can contact you if we want to definitely become a client.
Okay, you can reach me at Nemo's Uoowoo on Nemo's Uoowoo _ on Instagram. You can reach me at Nemo's Uoowoo Lemonade on Facebook. You can reach me through my website at nemosuoowoo.com. And you can reach me at my phone number that I'm not giving out.
Try those other versions.
But you can always reach me through Instagram and Facebook is the best.
Okay.
I prefer those.
Okay.
Instagram and Facebook.
Okay. I believe Erica says St. Agnes Rake and Scrape coming soon. We'll see you there.
Oh, listen, that was a special event. That was a special event at St. Agnes. I had a really good time. Those are events there's some events that you go to and that you do that you have a really good time at. And that's why I like doing the festivals and events, because I like meeting people. I like being out.
And you have the personality for that. For sure. You draw people into buying something just off your personality.
That's
true.
That was why I took those classes at Disney. That's why I graduated early. That's why I graduated college early, because of Disney with those courses. They taught you how to do that.
Exactly. I've seen it. I've been a witness to that.
Turn it on.
So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
This has been a wonderful and interesting conversation. And be sure to tell your family I said hello.
Most definitely. More likely my mother and my grandmother is watching. And
then, hey, Miss Bell.
I'll be getting a phone call as soon as we turn this off.
Exactly. Exactly. Look, if we either one of us say something wrong, I'm getting a phone call.
Okay.
If I do. So thank you so much.
Thank you so very much.
Okay.
Have a great rest.
You too. Thanks so much, everyone, for joining us today. As I mentioned earlier, that was a powerful interview because we learned a lot about the manufacturing company and just being innovative and creative during trying times. I'm really looking forward to the cocktail, so I'll keep you posted. Next week, we have 3 more guests that I'm really excited to present to you. On Tuesday, Marilyn Stevens from the Census Bureau. She's going to talk a lot about how important it is for you to participate in the census and how it has an impact on small business. We have Cornell Cruz from the Community Reinvestment Alliance. He is talking about how they are working very closely with banks to support more loans, more grants, more resources that need to be put into small businesses, both during the pandemic, before and after the pandemic. That has been their mission and initiative. And then on Thursday, I'm very excited. I will be interviewing actually someone that I have admired for a very long time in business, Jeff Friday. He is the creator, founder, and the owner of the American Black Film Festival. So I'm very excited about that. And I hope you will tune in next week with us as we talk to all 3. You have a wonderful weekend, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Bye-bye.